Okay, so right now we're getting ready to make a pair of pants. Well, you're actually getting ready to create a flat for a pair of pants. So the first thing that you'll need is your pen tool, and you're going to go down. You're not going to hit the natural waist. You're going to drop the waist a little bit, so it'll be a little bit of a low-rise pants. So you'll click here. Go down to where you want your pant leg or hem to stop. I'll say about here and there. Hit return. Now right now I don't want to see a fill on my pants, so I'm going to go over and click no fill for the fill. So now what we want to do, we want to curve this line out. So we know by now that in order to curve your line would be the anchor point tool. So I'm going to click about here, drag it over. I'm going to do the same thing for this area of the pen and pull it out. I'm going to use my handles just to pull it out a bit and just adjust my pen accordingly. So let me try that again. I'm just adjusting my pen accordingly. I think you guys are familiar enough to know how to work these tools. So let me take a look at that. I need to bring this out a little bit. And so far, I think that's okay. I'm going to do a little bit more of adjusting the pant leg. So I'm going to pull this out. And I'll hit my layers just to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is how the pant leg looks so far. Now I want to draw the line from here, the inside of the leg, the inseam. So I'm going to click the hem and go up to the crotch area. Stop about there, hit return enter on my keyboard. And I want to bring the inner thigh in just a little bit of the leg. So I'm going to click here and curve it over just a little bit. Hit return. And just so you see what it looks like, this is how the pant leg looks so far. So I want to create a pleat. It's kind of like a trouser. So what I'll do is go to my add anchor tool, and I'm going to add an anchor point right here. I'll move my mouse over, and then I'm just going to nudge down the center of the pant with the arrow, the down arrow on the keyboard, and you'll notice that the pant point is creating that pleat that I'm looking for. So I'll say about there, that should be fine. I'll click it again just so you can see what it looks like. So far this is what the pant leg looks like. So now what I want to do, I actually want to copy this side of the leg and reflect it so that it flips directly here without me having to make a whole lot of adjustments. So the first thing that I'm going to do is select my pants leg. I'm going to hit O to reflect it. I'm going to sit my mouse right on the guide. And as I sit my mouse there, I'm going to hit the Option or Alt key and click on use the mouse to click on the guide. So what I did was place my mouse on the guide, hold down the Option Alt key, and click. And once you click on it, you'll hit copy, and you'll notice how this leg automatically copies into the opposite place. It just automatically sits on the right place. So it just flips to the other side. You don't have to do any adjustments moving the leg over after you copy and paste. So that's pretty much how you would do anything that you need to reflect. Copy, reflect, and paste. So far these are the pants. They're a little tight in the waist area, but it's okay. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to select the pants and I'm going to join them. So I know some of my students had issues with joining, but I think it was the computer that they were using. If it's your own, you should be able to right click. If it's your own computer, you should be able to right click the object that you selected, click join. And with that being said, the top should be joined. Now we're going to hit it one more time. Now the crotch should be joined together. So you'll notice now you have a waistline. You have a waistline and the crotch is joined together. So you have that there. Now what I want to do is, and I'll zoom in just a little bit. What I want to do, I want to bring this waistband down a bit so we know to get the anchor point tool. Click center front and just drag it down just a little bit to give it a little bit of a curve. We got that. And now I want to create the bottom part of the waistband. So I'm going to hit my pen tool, click here, move my mouse over, but then I can hold down the shift key just so that I have a straight line, and click, hit return. So now I have my straight line. I'm going to add a little bit of a curve. I'll drop the bottom of the waistline a little bit to about right there. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. I could curve it a little bit more. Let's see. It's a thick waistband, but that's fine. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is create my pockets. So with creating pockets, I'm going to simply grab my pen tool, click here on my path, hit return. So what I want to do is add a curve for the pocket. So I go to my anchor point tool, drag this out just a little, and you create the pocket, the scoop to your liking. So what I want to do now, I want to copy that line, copy, and I'm going to paste it in front. So I hit Command C to copy, Command F to paste it in front. And with that being said, now I'm going to use my left arrow to nudge my pocket over. And let me hit Command plus so we can zoom in just a little bit. And I'm just nudging my arrow on the keyboard over. And now I'm going to click and drag just so that it sits directly on the side seam of the pant. Let's see what that looks like. So I could actually adjust this just a little bit. I'm just going to adjust it. That won't be something difficult for you to do. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to delete that and try again. So Command C, Command F. Now let me try the arrow down. Okay, so right now I was using the arrow down on my keyboard. And I'm going to adjust this so that it fits evenly. Let's see. Okay, that should be fine. So now I'm going to click on that same path and I'm going to turn it into a stitch. I'm going to go back to my graphic styles library or panel, hit stitches. So now there's stitches. With that being said, I'm going to copy both of them. Well, I'm going to select them both. Hold down the shift key, select the first pocket and then the stitches. And what I want to do is group them together. So I'll go to Object, scroll down to Group. I'm grouping them together. Now, since they're selected, what we want to do is we want to flip these two directly to the opposite side. So since they're selected, we're going to press O. That's going to reflect it. And then let me make sure that I turn the eye back on to layer 1 so I can see my guide. Now my guide is here. I'm going to set my mouse on top of the guide. I'm going to hold down the Option Alt key and just click with my mouse, left click with my mouse on the guide while I was pressing down the Alt Option key. Press copy. Perfect. And it flips and pastes directly to the opposite side. So I'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see so far what the pants look like. The next thing that we want to do is, and I'm going to turn off the first layer. What we want to do now is create a crotch break right across here. Well, actually, before we do that, we'll add the center seam line. We can't have a pair of pants without the center seam. So go up to the pen tool, draw a line from that bottom waistline seam waistline, and click here for the crotch. Hit enter, return to deselect, and then we're gonna, yeah, that way you can see what it looks like. Okay, so now that we have our crotch line, we're gonna create the crotch break. So you go over to your pen and you're gonna draw like a little diagonal line. So you can click here, click there, and while you're pressing that down, you want to give it a slight little curve. Well, it didn't turn out right, so I'm going to delete that and try it again. So I'm going to click, click, and drag to create my little hook. And now I let go of the mouse. I'm going to hit return so you can see what it looks like. So this is what my crotch break looks like, but we want this to be a little finer. So we're going to click on the crotch break and go over to your stroke panel. And next to where it says profile, you want to choose with profile 1. And it changes the style of your crotch break. So you have that. Let's zoom out a little bit. Now remember we were talking about the pleat, so I need to create pleat lines. So of course go back over to your pen tool, click here, draw a line to where you want the pleat to stop. So I'll say about there. I'll hit return so I can release the mouse. So I want this to have that a little bit of that fine line. So what I want to do is give it a curve, a slight curve, just so we can see what it looks like. Now we don't want this to have that blocky, that square tip. We don't want that. We want it to be a little light here. So we're gonna click there. We're gonna go to uniform, and then we're gonna press with profile 4. And we'll notice that it changes. So it's a little thicker at the hem and a little fine here. So we want to copy and reflect the same way we did the pockets and the legs. So we're going to select this pleat, O, press O. Make sure that you can see your guide. I need to turn my layer 1 back on so that I can see the guide. My mouse is just hovering on top of the guide. I'm going to press and hold Option and click on my guide. Click Copy. I'm going to press the selection tool and zoom out just so you can see what's going on. And now you see we have our pants. But there's 2 more things that I need to add. So let's go in. So we definitely want our little J curve, our little J, just the zipper tab. We want that there, and then we need a space. We need a little line to create the opening for your pants. So let's make sure that we put that there first. We need a way to get in the pants. So you want to click here. Click there, hit return. So now we have the tab to open the pants. And now we want to create that little flap for the zip front. So you need your pen tool. You click here, there, there. You hit return. Now you're going to click the direct selection tool. And you're going to click this little white point. Once you click that, you'll see that this red circle comes up. So what you want to do, you want to drag, you want to click on the red circle and just drag it, and it creates a little curve for you. So I'm going to try that again just so you can see what I did. I'm going to hit Command plus just to zoom in. I'm going to click it and delete it so we can do that again. So go back to the pen tool. You can click here, anchor point, anchor point there, anchor point here. Hit return just to release the mouse. And it looks almost crooked, but that's okay. So I'm just going to click on the path again. And this time I'm going to press on the direct selection tool. You'll notice that once you hit that, these 2 little circles this circle comes up and the anchor point is highlighted. So I want to click and press this circle and just move it up just a little bit, and you'll notice that the corner turns to a curve and you let it go. Once you do that, it gives you your little curve. We want to turn this into a stitch, so you click on it, hit stitches, and there you have your stitches. And let's back out, and I believe this is everything that we need for our pants. The waistband is kind of thick, but it's okay. So that's the front, but remember we need that back side to come up. So what I want to do is group everything together. I'll group everything. So you want to select everything. Then you go up to Object, Group. We have that. Now we want to hit Command C to copy. Then Command F to paste the pants in the back. So let's see. Now sometimes this can be a little tricky. Let me see if I have another pair in the back of the pants. Okay, perfect. And it's kind of 2 things that I want to do. I can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to copy these, paste another pair. I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. So you should see three. It's different things that you could do now. Everyone has their different way, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to drag these pants over here. I'm going to come back to this pair. And I'm going to ungroup, object, ungroup. And I'm going to take this waistband and bring it up the top of the waistband. So I'm going to use my anchor tool. I'm going to click here, drag that up. I can delete this. I really don't need that. And I'm going to select these and I'm going to hit the gray. I'm going to turn them gray. So now I have a gray. It's really a gray fill, but I'm going to take and drag the front of my pants, place them on top, and then I'll press default so that the white is on top of this. So I need to change that path into, let me see if I try this, what happens. The stitches. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to try to ungroup them because there was something that I missed. I didn't turn this into a stitch. So I'm going to ungroup them. And I'm going to press our little J curve and turn that into stitches. So perfect. Now we have our stitches. I'm going to select, and I noticed that the pockets changed too. So let me zoom in, Command plus. So I'm going to click on that first line of this pocket and I'm going to hit the no fill. Press the first line of that pocket, hit no fill. Now this is if you had that problem. Okay, so the first layer is good, and you'll notice that they don't have the same point as that. So I'm just going in and fix. It looks like some things changed when I started shifting and moving things around. So I'm going back to my stroke with 4. Perfect. Click this one. Now let's Command minus zoom out. Perfect. So now I'm going to select that first pair of pants and I'm going to hit object, group them together. So my first pair, the front of my pants are done. Now I need to work on the back. So these are going to turn into the back of the pants. So let me just make sure that I ungroup everything. Object, ungroup. So since this is the back, what I don't need are these pockets. I don't need this. I'm just selecting the little things that I don't need. Let me zoom in so you can see. The stitch, I don't need any of that. I don't need the tab. I'm going to select the top of the, I'm sorry, I need to hit the anchor tool to select this. Bring that up so you can have your straight line across. You'll do the same for this line. The middle seam, you bring that up. Now what you want to do, you want to stretch out the crotch break since it's behind the pant, and to make it look a little bit more professional, instead of having the little curves, you'll click on it, you hold down the option key and just stretch it out, and it just makes that little break longer and a little bit more appropriate. Command minus, so you can zoom out or use whatever you like to zoom out. I always use command plus and command minus. So now that that's together, I'm going to select every part of the back of the pant, object, group them together, and we should be fine. So let's see, I'm going to just lay them on top of each other just to see if it all worked out. So my pants, they don't have a fill, so I'm just going to select the first pair of pants, hit default. Now they should have a fill, so I'm going to select them, move them on top of the other pant. Still no fill, so let's see what I need to do. Let me try to move these. I'm going to make sure they're filled, so I'll hit default, send, arrange, send to back, drag these over. Now we're good to go. You'll notice that if I zoom in, I'm going to hit command plus. You'll notice that I lost my gray fill here. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to select. You might not have, but it's going to bother me that I did. So I'm going to hit object, ungroup, and I'm just going to select this. I'm going to fill it with gray and see what happens. Perfect. So now I'm good to go, and then I lost my lines here for the pockets. So I'm going to go back to my pockets. And guys, bear with me. It's just when you're maneuvering, you never know what's going to happen. So I need to zoom in. Command plus. Hit this line. No fill. Perfect. I'll do the same thing to the other pocket. Hit that. No fill. Perfect. Zoom out. Select them. Group them together. I'm going to just ungroup them because I'm still having these problems. But I'll leave them just like that. And now you have your front and back pants flat. So always just play around with everything that you do. Little things that I see that's bothering me that I can go back and fix, just minor things. I noticed that when I group these together, I lost the point in my pleats. But you can always fix it. You just do what you have to do until you get it the way that it needs to be done professionally before it goes off to the manufacturer. So it's very important that you take time out to make those adjustments. But other than that, guys, those are the front and the back of your flats, your pants flats.